When She Was Bad, Buffy enters a new school year and deals with the after effects of killing the Master.
We open with Xander and Willow trading movie quotes at the end of a boring summer break.
Xander reveals that he still likes Buffy. I was hoping we were past that.
And she has been in LA the entire summer.
Xander and Willow are goofing around, and it almost leads to him kissing her.
And we can't escape from the 90s.
But a vampire interrupts. Buffy pops out and kills it, and they say this is the first vampire they've seen since last season.
And they also say that they buried the Master's bones. Since Buffy was with her dad in LA and they're back, he and Buffy's mom are talking, and her dad says she was distant the whole time.
Then we get our side character reintroductions all in a row. Cordelia, then Snyder, then Calendar.
But I'm glad that all the characters are back, and we didn't just shove some out of the way.
All the dialogue was a little too on the nose, with some very obvious and predictable jokes.
Hello? See the way these kids gaze at each other? All mini.
It's good to see you.
After school, we get a library training montage with some badass music. We cut to a vampire meeting, and we see that Airplane Kid is there, and it appears that he will be their new leader.
Buffy has a good dream where Giles kills her.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was a dream, and I thought they did a really good job with that.
When she wakes up, Angel is in her room.
Watching her sleep.
He warns her about Airplane Kid, but she seems very dismissive about everything.
I did like, though, how he actually gave all the information he had without being stupid about it, and even admitting that he didn't know some things.
Unexpected character growth.
Must have been a slip-up. And we can't escape from the 90s as he leaves.
I missed you.
The next day, Cordelia talks to the gang, and they tell her to stop talking about vampires and stuff in public. But so much weird shit has happened already in full view of everyone, and so many people have died, it shouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
And Buffy is unusually curt and bitchy.
Your secret's safe with me.
You won't tell anyone that I'm the Slayer, and I won't tell anyone you're a moron.
Now that was a good insult.
A little too good.
We cut to the Bronze, and they really want you to know that they actually have a real band this time, because they mention them all the time and they put a lot of focus on them. It's Chibo Mato, who usually sings songs about food, and this is no exception. The song is called Sugar Water.
The velocity of time turns her voice into sugar water.
Buffy and Angel are talking, where she says she's moved on and starts making some moves on Xander.
Willow and Angel are both understandably disturbed by Buffy's weird behavior.
I will say the band music actually matched the mood of the scene better than we've seen in the past, and it also didn't make me want to shove ice picks in my ears.
Agreed. And Cordelia follows her out and calls her out on her behavior, and as Buffy walks away, Cordelia is grabbed by vampires. Then we see some vampires digging up the Master's bones.
It's burning their hands because the ground is consecrated, so get a shovel. Get a rock. Get a piece of wood. I don't know. Buffy goes to the graveyard and finds the Master dug up.
And she has Kilgrave-style visions of him haunting her. Willow and Xander talk to Giles about whether Buffy might be possessed, and I like the one shot of Giles reacting to whatever he's drinking. He theorizes that Buffy is dealing with trauma from her experiences with the Master, and she walks in and tells him that the Master's bones are gone.
They're confronted by Principal Snyder, and I enjoyed what he was saying.
There's some things I can just smell. It's like a sixth sense.
No, actually, that would be one of the 5.
Later, Giles does some research and finds out that they intend to resurrect the Master, and
They need his bones, which they have, and the blood, the closest person, someone connected to the vampire.
That'd be me.
then a rock flies in the window with a message telling Buffy to go to the Bronze, or Cordelia will be in trouble.
Or we make her a meal.
I did like Xander's one line.
They're gonna cook her dinner?
Buffy opts to go alone, and she's followed by Angel.
And Buffy says,
You know, being stalked isn't really a big turn-on for girls.
But it seemed to really turn her on all through season 1. And Giles realizes that the trap is actually for him, Willow, and Xander.
because they were the ones physically closest to the Master at his time of death.
Giles really needs to get his Latin figured out.
Buffy and Angel find a crying girl, who turns out not to be Cordelia, but a vampire. Buffy questions and tortures her for info by putting a cross in her mouth, which was cool. And it turns out they have taken Miss Calendar as well.
So Willow, Miss Calendar, Cordelia, and Giles are all hanging upside down, ready to be sacrificed to resurrect the Master.
When Buffy, Angel, and Xander show up, I liked Buffy's line about her plan to distract the vampires while Angel and Xander free the captives.
I'm gonna kill them all. That ought to distract them.
Buffy fights the vampires.
I thought it was a surprisingly good fight scene, but when it gets down to the final two vampires, one of which has a big hammer, I thought it was kind of lame how they both died by basically running into the torch that Buffy breaks off.
Yeah.
But I did like how the one died by burning. It was cool.
So fire kills vampires in this show? Have we established that yet?
We hadn't before because, again, they don't seem to talk about vampires very much for being a show that has vampire in the title.
So after she wins, Buffy smashes the Master's bones with a hammer and has her emotional release.
Later, she apologizes to Giles for her behavior. Then she goes to class and seems unsure of how to act with Xander and Willow, but they seem to have forgiven her already.
And we can't escape the 90s.
How about miniature golf?
There's no course here.
Okay, miniature tennis. A very tactical tennis that we can invent and then
And we close with Airplane Kid walking in on the Master's shattered bones.
I hate that girl.
And that helped make up for the goofy ending right before, when she was bad. Overall,
This was a surprisingly good opening for Season 2. The humor was actually pretty good. I liked how the whole gang was involved without discounting some characters right away. The pacing was pretty good. The writing was pretty good. Buffy actually had an arc, and it's a shame that it was all wrapped up in this one episode. I maybe would have liked a little more drawn-outness. Airplane Kid is still important, and I hope they do more with him than the Master ended up doing in Season 1. And overall, I thought this was a pretty good opening and gives me higher hopes for Season 2 than the mostly garbage that Season 1 was. I gave it a B+.
I gave it a B. I thought it was cool that they not only directly addressed everything that happened at the end of last season, but that they spent an entire episode dealing with it. Refreshing our memories about all the characters was a little in your face, but I'm glad they all came back right away. I was very disappointed to see them kind of fall back into their simplistic earlier depictions, with the exception of Buffy. I felt like things were getting better and this was a step back. We got a little of Xander maybe becoming interested in Willow, but it was dumb how Xander seemed to just forget about it, and I hope they bring it up again because it would be weird if they didn't. Buffy was handled much better. I liked the exploration of her PTSD, but her behavior was a little too over the top sometimes. We still know nothing about Airplane Kid, and his first attempt at doing something on his own didn't go anywhere, so it's a little hard to see him as a real threat at this point. Overall, it was a good follow-up to last season. I just hope our side characters start developing a little more depth as well.